So today I thought we'd have a look at a new release of Bodhi Linux or Bodhi Linux. It's quite a lightweight distribution and it's got quite a novel approach to the way that things are displayed. I found it very slick. And recently I wanted to find a distribution that was lightweight enough to suit a Hewlett-Packard thin client computer. What is a thin client? It's a rectangular box computer, fairly portable. This one's quite large, you can get much smaller ones these days. I bought it on eBay with a power supply for about 50 quid. It's got a few USB ports on the back, an Ethernet connection, VGA output, a DVI output, and a serial port. And some PS2 keyboard ports, but of course you can use USB. Had a couple of USB ports on the front, headphones and mic socket, and I wanted this to use as a media player, but it's not that good. And after checking on a few forums, I upgraded the processor to a slightly faster one. But they can be quite useful and they can be picked up for a reasonable price. It's an interesting alternative to using a Raspberry Pi. It's a bit more aesthetic. And this has a couple of gigs of flash memory built in, but I'm going to be installing Bodhi Linux onto an SSD. Seems to be quite effective. Now, I can't capture the screen on this easily. But what I can do is install it on a virtual machine. So what I thought I'd do today, I'd do a double review. I'll be doing installing Bodhi Linux and having a look around it. And additionally, I'll be looking at Qemu, Qemu. Qemu is for managing virtual machines, and it's a very powerful program. It's an alternative to VirtualBox, which is an Oracle product. And I've been using it for quite a while now, and I'm really happy with it. And I prefer the graphical interface, which is a thing called a Virt-Manager, Virt-Manager. And that allows me to control all the parameters simply. So we'll be having a look at that as well. If you want to jump straight to the Bodhi Linux installation, I will provide a link to that. So the first thing we need to do is download Bodhi Linux or Bodhi Linux. So this is the download page, nice little introduction, and you can go straight to the download page, 64-bit only, and it downloads through SourceForge. There we go, the download will start shortly. I've already actually downloaded it, so I can cancel that. There's a couple of different versions of it. The standard one, the HWE and the app pack. I'm just going for the whole one. I just want everything from the start. So while you downloaded that, there's a couple of other things we need to install on Linux. I've already got them installed. One is Qemu. So that is Qemu, which you can install as a snap package. And also Virt-Manager, which is VIRT, and you can see Virtual Manager. You need to install those on your Linux distribution. I'm not sure if these are available for Windows. I'll be focusing on Linux today, but you'd be able to do it using VirtualBox just as easily if you wanted to. So, having installed those and set them up, first thing we need to do is to set up a new VM. So opening the Virtual Machine Manager presents me with the virtual machine I've already got installed, which is Windows 11. And just to show you how that works very quickly, I'll just run it. And there's Windows 11 running in a box. And there we go. That's Windows 11. That's how fast it can run on a good machine. Really easy to do. You can make it full screen. No doubt it'll be trying to get its updates. Shut it down. But unlike VirtualBox, we actually have to close the window as well. Okay, so to set up a new one, go to New Virtual Machine, and we're going to be installing it from a local ISO image in this particular instance. You need to select that. Now you have to add each folder that you're going to use in your installation to this pool. I've already added the downloads folder, but normally you'd just go here, you set your target path, you would go to downloads, you would open the folder, not the file, you would name it. I don't need to do that, I've already got it. And you can see I've been playing around with some distros as usual. So Bodhi is the one that we're interested in. So we'll add that. So we've now got that path in there. So you have to tell it can't detect Linux distros, so you just say Linux, and I just select a generic one, and it seems to work absolutely fine. Generic default, forwards. Then we need to allocate our memory and CPUs. Now this should be approximately 50% of what's available on your machine. You can make them higher, but it will slow the host machine down, and if you wish to run multiple VMs simultaneously, you'd need to make them a lot less. I'm going to go for 16384 because that's what I've got on this machine. It's a 32 gig, in fact maybe more, I don't know. Not important really, it's whatever works for your machine. The numbers are not exact, and you can change those after the event. I've got a 12 core CPU, so I can allocate 6 cores to this. Again, I could allocate more because the host machine won't be doing much. Now we want to enable a virtual storage for the machine. By default, this will do it in the default location, kind of what you'd expect for the default. I want to put it somewhere else. Now I have a virtual machines directory on another drive. This actual path actually maps to a different physical drive on my machine. You can do this if you want, but it's up to you how you do it. There's a lot you can read on this. Qemu seems to favour the QCOW format, and it seems to work with a lot of distributions without any problems at all. So I'm going to stay with that. In this particular instance, I don't plan to install a lot of software, so I'm going to allocate 80 gigabytes to it. And we can just click finish, and that will create the volume. It's already selected. I need to choose the volume to install to. Click forward. And now we just want to create a shortcut in the panel, and it's Bodhi 6. The network selection should be already selected to default NAT. That's going to work for me. And there we go. And that's how fast it boots. I can open this up now so that you can see what's occurring. So we're running Bodhi in live mode at the moment. I'll just hit the return key. I shall click in the box first to make sure that the Qemu picks it up. And there we go. It does do a disk check. You can skip it with Control-C if you're confident. I am, because I've run it before and installed it before. And we're presented with this pleasant green interface. And strange swirling on its side number 8 or infinity sign. And this is a very low-key installation. It's incredibly powerful, but it's not very intrusive at all. It's something you could just really get on with what you want to do. And it uses the Moshka desktop. So we need to select our language. For me it's English, with the wrong flag on it. We'll select English UK for the keyboard layout. You can select whatever you are using. And here's the Moshka desktop. And that's it, we're into Bodhi. So it's pretty slick, and there's a bit of a play on Bodhi themes, which is pretty cool, I think. Clock's not currently synchronizing. We can go straight to the install. You know, it comes with the Chrome browser pre-installed. We'll just have a quick glance at that. It's not going to work the best in this setup because it's still running from a compressed ISO image. So things could take a little longer than they will on a proper installation. So there we go, go straight to the Bodhi local website. Let's click to install Bodhi Linux. And all will become very familiar. Most of the GNOME style installations, to me they look the same. I'm sure there's subtle differences between them. Again, English. This is based on Debian and Ubuntu. So it's going to be very familiar territory for anybody who's used either of those operating systems or any of the derivations of it. I'm English UK. It makes me happy. I will install the third-party drivers and the updates at the same time. It's really slick because it's a one-pass installation. Because we're on a VM, we can erase the whole disk. Of course, if you're partitioning, you may need to do something completely different or dual booting. I'm going to erase the whole disk. It's going to ask me to confirm. My time zone is London. You can select the appropriate one for you. Insert the password of choice. Because I'm using a VM, I can afford to log in automatically. You can choose to require a password to log in. I always shorten the computer name because when you start working on the command line, it obstructs the terminal window when it's really long. And it was downloading the files in the background. So we see the usual splash screens introducing you to it. It's the Moksha desktop environment, which gives you a lightweight and beautiful operating system you can style just as you want it to look. And I haven't had a chance to look at the community yet. I was actually so impressed with this, I wanted to do the recording as soon as possible. The other OS I'll be looking at the moment is Zorin 16, and you'll have noticed that's what I'm running on my desktop on this machine and another one. For the more powerful computer, it definitely offers advantages, but Bodhi is nice and lightweight. And for this HP thin client, it doesn't allocate a lot of resources or graphics to it, but it does run very effectively. Okay, so we're now installed and we can restart. This will boot into the VM in our instance. If you did an installation, of course, you would now have to remove the installation medium and then press enter. I'm in a VM. The VM window will minimize and I will maximize it again just for clarity so we can see what's going on. And this is how it would look on your monitor. So back into the boot screen, and before you know it, we're into the desktop. And of course the first thing that we would do is set up the desktop, the window display, the display.
A few moments later.
Okay, wouldn't you know it, they hid the monitor settings. In applications, preferences, monitor settings. Yay, there we go. I told it to only have one desktop instead of 4 as well. So there's Bodhi Linux installed. So it comes with the Chrome browser as standard. Of course you can install other browsers. I also haven't found where software is. Yeah, there's very little software installed on this as standard. There really isn't a lot in there. So there's the Bodhi App Center and Synaptic Package Manager, which most people are familiar with. Oh, so this is a web-based thing. That's a novelty. So we can install straight from the web page. Right. I didn't install that, it's already installed. How is it already installed? So we got Chrome. And you can't right click, that's quite annoying as well. Terminology. So this is the updates and the upgrades done. Always advisable to do this on a fresh installation straight away before anything gets corrupted. Let's just see if Firefox is installed. Why it says it's installed when it's not, unless you've got Firefox ESR installed. That is also possible. No. It's definitely installed now. What if they're doing me for copyright for playing YouTube adverts? Or playing Leap's video? There we go, that's playing.
Okay, so I finally have a compute module 4.
So that works very effectively. So I won't bother reviewing the whole distro, it's not necessary. I'm sure you're perfectly capable of finding your own way around it and discovering what it's all around. You will have to install your own software. This comes with precious little. But you can have 4 desktops on it, or more potentially. Comes with LeafPad and Vim. Language support, ePhoto. Ooh, exciting. Firefox is now in the list. And that's your lot. You know, you really need to work at this and customize it through our file manager. And you'll be able to work your way around and find out that it's going to be really lightweight. You can just install what you need to. I don't have a Windows network, I have a Linux network. And there we go. So we made an 80 gig hard drive and it's consumed 13 gigabytes of it. I'd say that's pretty compact for a modern distro. In fact, just before we go, let's do this. Because I always do. I think it's a really good test of a distro. I know it takes about 5 seconds to open in Windows, unless in GIMP. There we go. Very happy. what more could you want? Oh, I've got the wrong tool selected. Duh. There we go, the GIMP. What more could you want? So that's Bodhi Linux. Something that you can customise from the ground up to do exactly what you want it to do. And I'll exit out of this properly just so you can see what goes on. Power switch is on the right hand side, as it is on a few others. Power off. And this is the Qemu window. The guest is no longer running. There's Qemu, there's my Virt-Manager, there's Bodhi 6 shut off. I think that's slick. Qemu is extremely slick and there's a lot that you can customise on it. It's not always apparent at first, all the things that you can do with it, but there are a lot of settings that you can customise. It is very fast. I think the penetration to the host machine, the host metal, is incredibly fast compared to VirtualBox. I'm not knocking VirtualBox, it's served me very well for years. I've found this to be more versatile and it seems to integrate very well with operating systems. I've even had FreeBSD running on it, but that's another story. So thanks for watching, hope you enjoy this. Please leave your comments below, and above all, please subscribe and click the notification bell, then you can find out when I launch new videos. See you soon.